I'm going to show you my simple strategy to find cheap luxury accommodation overseas without having to use platforms like Airbnb. And yes, this strategy will also work inside the United States. So the first question I want to answer is, why is Airbnb so freaking expensive? The main reason that Airbnb is so overpriced is it's a platform that's actually built for tourists and for short-term rentals, meaning they'll give a slight discount for monthly prices. This means the platform is extremely overpriced for anything over a few weeks. And likely the sweet spot for Airbnb bookings is if you're a family of 3 or 4, you need 7 to 15 nights, that's likely going to be the best option for you, but I have a much better way. What if I told you for your same 2-week stay on Airbnb, you could get a better quality apartment and stay for over a month? Now, let's go ahead and dig into how this is actually possible. Now, occasionally some cities, Airbnb can make sense, but about 95% of the time, I avoid using Airbnb completely due to the insanely high prices, terrible cancellation policy, and overall poor inventory for nice luxury apartments. And then those crazy fees that they tack on for cleaning fees are just absolutely mind-boggling. Now, let's go ahead and get back to my 3-step simple strategy to finding luxury apartments overseas. Now, the main strategy I use to find really cheap luxury apartments and villas overseas is by using a platform you probably already have installed on your phone, but you're not using it in the right way. Now, the platform I'm talking about is Facebook. Facebook is the #1 best place to find really affordable luxury accommodation overseas. There's so many great Facebook groups related to expat communities in your desired city. Now, the strategy that I use is to go over to Facebook and find the city that you're wanting to move to. For example, let's say we're looking at villas in Koh Samui, Thailand. What I would search for is villa in Koh Samui, rent apartments in Koh Samui, rent villas in Koh Samui, and there's going to be almost hundreds of different Facebook groups where you can go ahead and access these apartments directly. Now, finding the apartments and stuff can be the easy process. There's going to be a lot of different realtors. And the strategy that I do is not just look, but I also go ahead and post the requirements that I'm looking for. This is going to allow you to have an inbound and an outbound process for finding luxury apartments. Have your criteria and the dates that you're looking for. Make sure you have everything you want. And then you're going to be able to post that and get in contact with people who can also help you expand the search. So once you've found an apartment you like, what I recommend is making sure that this person is vetted, making sure that the apartment is actually legitimate. It's really easy to fake pictures, but it's much harder to fake videos. One of the reasons I do this is I always suggest and always have any place to take a video of the actual property before I send any sort of money. You can do other things like getting contractors, checking the person's Facebook profile, and trying to get some other referrals. The easiest way to do this also is to have a quick call with the person you're going to be renting from to make sure that they're legitimate. You can also just pay a small deposit, then you can pay the remainder once you're actually in the apartment. This is the strategy that I usually suggest. Instead of sending all the money up front, pay about 10 to 30% up front for the accommodation to hold your place, then pay the remainder once you're actually on site. You know that you're inside the building, everything checks out. And sometimes I'll even make sure that I can stay there for a week before I have to pay that remainder amount. Just think about it as adding your first week as a deposit, and then you're going to be extending that if you decide to stay. This strategy works extremely well, but there's a few other strategies that I always use when I'm looking to find luxury villas and luxury apartments. The next thing that you need to know is everything is negotiable. Depending on the time of year you're going, there's a high season and a low season for just about every country. And if you're going in low season, you're gonna have more leverage to bargain a better deal. And if you're looking to go on a longer 3, 6, or 12-month contract, you're again gonna have a lot more leverage. Or if you can provide something of value to the villas, like for example, I sometimes will take drone videos or create a promotional video for the villa to get some type of discount. So the next strategy is to find local experts. These are going to be realtors, villa management companies, or something in between. I try to find these people that are going to do their job to help me find the villas. Now, I use these types of people to really expedite the process to find a villa or a luxury apartment while living overseas. They just know the process and how it works a lot better, and they're incentivized to really help you find a listing that's going to meet your standards. Now, they get some commission after you go ahead and rent the property. Working with local realtors has been a game changer because this gives you access to the actual local market. Again, no person living long-term overseas is renting their apartment on Airbnb. Besides maybe the occasional tourist or expat, figure out what the locals are using, and most locals are finding friends or they're utilizing local realtors to find apartments. This is going to allow you to find places that are being rented at local prices. So this is the strategy that I've been able to use and find some of the best apartments while living overseas, is by employing and having local realtors help me along my search. The last step is to talk to local expats. Find somebody who's been living in the city that you're interested in moving to for at least a few years. Ask at least a dozen people, how did they find their current place that they're living in? And what you'll find might surprise you. Most people are moving to a place, booking something short term, and then trying to expand their search through networking events, making friends, or some type of referrals. This is where you're gonna find the best deals. You're gonna find somebody who owns or operates a property management, and they're gonna be like, hey, we just had this cancellation. You can get into this villa for a much cheaper price. What I suggest for most people is to structure, go ahead and use a local realtor to find that first month or two, book a short-term lease before you commit to anything too long-term. It's really hard to determine what's the best area of the city, what restaurants are nearby, is there a good gym, all these certain things that you just need to figure out before you move there. So lock in a short 1 to 3 month rental, get there on site in the country, and then start expanding your search, talking to more local realtors, but more local expats who can help you kind of level up your next property. This has been the strategy that I've used in almost every single country that I've moved to. I usually book a 1 month stay, and then during that month, I'm going in and looking at the rental properties in person. One of the things that I think is a worthwhile test on every place I visit is taking a video, doing an internet speed test, and also checking the water pressure and the quality and comfort of the furniture, and especially the bed. There's so many properties that I've been to that the bed feels like you're sleeping on concrete, the internet doesn't work well, or the water pressure just doesn't feel strong at all. These things can be okay if you're staying for 3 or 4 days, but if you're staying for 3, 6, or 12 months, they can kind of be a game changer and a deal breaker for going ahead and moving to a property. If you're trying to do this abroad before you move somewhere, you can have a nice checklist of everything for them to send you. They can send you screenshots of the internet speeds. They can send you a video of the water pressure. They can give you an idea of how firm the bed's gonna be. Some people like them hard, some people like them soft. In Asia, from my experience, most of the beds are just gonna be harder in general. So you really need to have this comprehensive list for what you're looking for inside each apartment. And one of the coolest things that I found, and this is a little hack that a friend told me about, is all of the best apartments he's stayed at overseas and in the United States have Sonos speakers. So what you can do is you can search the city name on Google, add Sonos as a search criteria, and then you'll be able to find some properties that have Sonos speakers. And the reason that this is actually a hack is because it allows you to have a filter for those higher end apartments that weren't just built for the cheapest way possible to get Airbnb people in. Most houses that put Sonos speakers in their apartment or villas, meaning that they're gonna be a really high quality furniture, appliances, and everything else in between. Now, again, if you enjoyed this video or if you have some other suggestions, make sure to leave a comment below. But if you learned anything, make sure to go ahead and subscribe for the new videos I'm putting out every single week. And I'm gonna leave a video up here that shows you about the best places to live overseas. And this is gonna show you how you can live in luxury for under $1,000 per month.